Hola y buenos días. Yo soy el señor Morris. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today we'll start off by looking at the calendar. We'll review the foods that we started to talk about during our last lesson, and then we'll start to talk about vegetables. But before we do all that, let's sing our greeting song. Canten conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. Muy bien cantado. Now, as I said, we'll start today's lesson with a look at the calendar. Okay. Let's start with the same questions that I always ask, and you guys give me the right answers, okay? ¿Cuáles son los días de la semana? ¿Cuáles son los días de la semana? And you help me out here on the answer. Los días de la semana son lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. And to help us remember that, we have a song. Okay? Let's go ahead and sing it right now. Hay 7 días en una semana, los vamos a nombrar. Help me out now, guys. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Okay, now. Otra pregunta. ¿En qué mes estamos? You remember that word mes? It's not like a mess in your room. It's a mess that we find up here when we look at the calendar. And if we look at this calendar here, we would answer like this. Estamos en marzo. Estamos en marzo. Here's another question you should know. ¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy? Hoy. Now, it depends on when you're watching this, but if today were a Tuesday and it were the 6th of March, Tuesday, the 6th of March, you would answer like this. Hoy es martes 6 de marzo. All right. Muy bien. Well, last class, we started talking about foods that we get from plants. Do you remember? And we said that there were so many that we couldn't learn them all. But we started off by talking about a certain class of foods that we get from plants. I'd like to go ahead and start today by reviewing those that we talked about in our last class. Now, if you've written these down in your Spanish notebooks, you should be able to get these pretty easily. Okay? Remember, we started off talking about these. And we said these are las frutas. Las frutas. And let's see, I'm going to go over some of these now. Do you remember this one? Do you have that in your notebooks? Do you remember what it's called? La manzana. La manzana. Very good. Now, if you didn't get a chance to jot that down last time, you might want to go ahead and do it now. Okay? This next one that we looked at, we said that the color of this fruit is kind of like the name. Do you remember that? Can you tell me what this fruit is called? Did you say la naranja? La naranja. And that does kind of sound like anaranjado, doesn't it? Yeah. How about this one? Okay, now I told you there were two names for this. The one is a cognate, right? We could call it a banana, or the one that I hope you jotted down in your notebooks is el plátano. El plátano. That's right. And we talked about these here. Oh, and these look so good. I could eat them. Do you remember what they're called? This was the first word on our activity sheet. Short word, son las uvas. Uvas. That's right, las uvas. And then we talked about a couple of more, and we even made something with some of these. The first one was this one, and I like to eat these a lot. All right? Este es el tomate. And that's just almost like a cognate, isn't it? El tomate. And then there was one more, and this one's kind of a cognate too. Kind of sounds like what we call it in English. El aguacate. And the first part of this one sounds like water, doesn't it? Agua. El aguacate. Now, we did our activity sheet last time, which was called ¿Qué alimentos obtenemos de las plantas? Right? Well, alimentos are foods, right? Remember I mentioned that? And obtener is the same as the word obtain from English. Obtain means to get something. So we were talking about the foods that we obtain or get from plants. Today's lesson is very much like that. It's called Otros alimentos que obtenemos de las plantas. Other foods that we get from plants. Today we're going to look at and talk about other foods that we get from plants. And these are las verduras. Las verduras. Can anyone guess what verduras are? Well, considering I told you already, I hope that you can guess that these are vegetables. Okay, well, let's look at some of these. Okay, well, this first one here is something that you might eat on your sandwiches and in your salads. La lechuga. La lechuga, right? And that is what in English? Lettuce. Okay. How about this one? Okay. And that's right. You should all know what this is called because we know it's not your father. Es la papa. La papa. Okay? Oh, here's one that's kind of good, especially if you're on a diet or something. Yeah. Goes good in salads and stuff. El apio. El apio. Go ahead and jot these down while we're going over them, okay? Get it in your Spanish notebooks. Another one that I see down here is this. Es el arroz. What is that? Can you see what it is? That's rice. El arroz. And go ahead and say that one because you get to roll your R. Arroz. Okay? There's another vegetable in here. Oh, that's really good for you. Yeah. This one. And it's kind of like a cognate. Es el brócoli. El brócoli. What is that in English? Broccoli. Yeah. El brócoli. There's one more that I'd like to show you. Here it is. Yeah. Ooh, boy, this one looks good too. Corn or el maíz. El maíz. Now, when we look at these vegetables, we can see that they're from different parts of the plant. Okay, and we've talked about the parts of the plant. So I'd like to ask you, this, the lettuce, la lechuga, what part of the plant is it? Can you tell me? Do you remember? You know in English it's what? It's the leaf. En español es las hojas, son las hojas. Las hojas de la planta son lechuga. How about this one? This one might be kind of tricky. Well, this is el brócoli, remember? What part of the plant is brócoli? Okay, you got your guess? Did you tell it in Spanish? La flor. La flor. Okay, well, you guys are doing pretty good. How about this one? El apio. El apio. What part of the plant is apio? Do you know in English? That's right. It's the stalk. O en español es el tallo. El tallo. How about the corn? Yeah, these parts of the corn that we eat here are what part of the plant? Do you remember? Can you guess? Did you say las semillas? That's right. Las semillas are the corn, right? Well, how about this? How about this? The arroz. Arroz. What part of the plant do you think that is? Okay. Did you say las semillas? Las semillas. Otra vez. That's right. Okay, now here's kind of a tricky one that I learned about as I was getting this lesson ready. Okay? What part of the plant is la papa? La papa. Do you think you know? Well, here's the trick part of the answer. It's not the root, as I thought it was. It's considered part of the stem, or el tallo. Yeah, did you know that? I had to look it up to find that out. Papa is tallo. Well, let me see now. I'm going to ask you a few questions and see if you can tell me the answers. Okay. Esta verdura ¿es lechuga o es maíz? ¿Es lechuga o es maíz? Raise your hand and tell your teacher if you think you know the answer. Lechuga or maíz? Did you say maíz? Es maíz. Okay, how about this one? Okay, I'm going to make this easier for you. Esta verdura es arroz, sí o no? ¿Es arroz, sí o no? Tell your teacher. You can either answer sí, es arroz, o no, no es arroz. No, no es arroz, es apio. Es apio. Okay. Trick question time again. ¿Es la papa o es el papá? ¿Es la papa o es el papá? Raise your hand and tell your teacher. Okay, did you say la papa? Remember, you stress that first syllable to say that it's a potato, and if you stress the second syllable, you're saying that it's your father. Okay, how about this one? Esta verdura, where is it? Oh, there it is. Esta verdura. ¿Es arroz, sí o no? ¿Es arroz, sí o no? Tell your teacher. Did you say sí? Es arroz. Well, I tell you what. While we get our activity sheets ready to go over today, I'd like you guys to go ahead and review the foods that we get from plants with this video. Pongan atención y repitan todos. Alimentos. ¿Qué alimentos obtenemos de las plantas? Obtenemos frutas de las plantas. Manzana, naranja, plátano, uvas, tomate, aguacate, obtenemos verduras de las plantas. Lechuga. Papa. Apio. Brócoli. Arroz. Maíz. Well, that guy really eats a lot. Let's go ahead and look at our activity sheets for today, called Otros Alimentos que obtenemos de las plantas. Okay? Other foods that we get from plants. All right? Go ahead and start. Write your name up at the top. Voy a escribir mi nombre. R-O-B-E-R-T-O. Soy yo, Roberto. Now, this one says, match the name of the vegetable to the part of the plant from which it comes. And here are the parts of the plants: la flor, las semillas, la hoja, el tallo, y la raíz. And here are our vegetables, verduras. The first one is lechuga. Lechuga, do you remember what lechuga was? That was the lettuce. Lechuga is lettuce. So, what part of the plant, de qué parte de la planta es la lechuga? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, go ahead and draw a line from lechuga to la hoja. La hoja. The lettuce is the leaf of the plant, isn't it? Now, here's your tricky one again. Remember papa? La papa? Remember, that's not your father, that's the potato. And remember I told you what part of the plant the papa was? Remember, it's a little bit different than what I had originally thought. You guys might have known all along. See if you can draw the line from la papa to the part of the plant that it is. Okay? Well, today we talked about food and more food. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to get pretty hungry. You know, plants don't only give us stuff to eat. I mean, you can't eat everything that plants give us, can you? Next class, we'll start to look at what other things plants give us. Can you think of some right now? Maybe you guys can brainstorm some before our next class so that you can anticipate a little bit what we're going to be talking about. Pero saben que ya es hora de despedirnos. For our goodbye song today, let's sing La Bamba. And this is one that I always like so much. So canten conmigo. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba, se necesita una poca de gracia. Una poca de gracia para ti, para mí, ahí arriba y arriba. Ahí arriba y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Everybody help me out now. Bamba, bamba. One more time. Bamba, bamba. Yo no soy marinero. Yo no soy marinero. Soy capitán, soy capitán, soy capitán. Here we go now. Bamba, bamba. Sing it again now. Bamba, bamba. Real soft now. Real soft. A little bit louder. Bamba, bamba. A little bit louder. Bamba, bamba. Muy bien. Until next class. Adiós y hasta luego.